Since my domestic violence video has kind of popped off on YouTube, I kind of want to bring light to what I'm going through and what I have been going through, just in case there are other people out there who might be going through the same thing and might be scared, because I was scared and I still am really fucking scared. So I hope that this is able to help people. If you haven't heard my story, you can go back to the other YouTube video. You don't have to, though, because it was me basically standing up for myself, telling somebody, yes, I was beaten, and yes, I do have head problems because of this. But on September 12th, 2013, my boyfriend at the time beat the shit out of me, to be point blank. My whole ear, even this right here, was bruised. I had swelling here all the way to my neck. It was bruised even back here. I was beaten with a broom like I was a piñata. I had cigarettes put out against me. I was hung by my purse. I was strangled. And my head was bashed against the wall on the floor for, I think, at least 40 minutes. I want to say it was very close to an hour. And I fought very hard to stay awake during that time. I saw a lot of stars during that time. So I left Jeffrey in the end of 2014. And he was in jail, and I had gotten evicted from our home, and I left. I found my way out and I left. Everything was fine. I left in the middle of July of 2014. Everything was fine. And then on Valentine's Day of 2015, I was driving home, and my vision became snowy, is what I call it. It just went all prickly, kind of, like an old school TV. You know how we had to hit the TVs back in the day to, you know what I mean? If you know, you know. If you didn't know, I'm sorry. But my hands started to tingle, and I just felt really weird. And when I turned onto my road, I lost consciousness, and I drove into an oil truck. And there was no damage done to the oil truck or anything. And I, was like, what the hell just happened? I was sweating, and I just, felt really dizzy. So I backed my car up, and I was literally right in front of my house. I backed my car up, and I got out of the car, and I was stumbling like I was drunk. And the people that were across the street said, "Oh my God, she's drunk, she's stumbling. Someone called 911." So police were called out to the house, and I was downstairs, but I was sweating profusively, and I felt very cold on the inside, and it felt like my body was shaking, but I don't know if I was or not, and I didn't feel good at all. My friend's stepmother came to the top of the steps and said, "Lauren, what just happened? Because the police are here, and they're asking to see you, and they're saying you did a hit and run. What the hell's going on?" So I came upstairs, and they tried telling me that I was drunk. They gave me a breathalyzer. Nothing came up because I wasn't drunk. And they said, "Do you need an ambulance? Do you need to be seen?" And I said, "No, I have a lot going on, you know. I didn't have insurance or anything like that. Nothing." So I wasn't seen, and the cop said that he could have arrested me for leaving a scene of crime and for leaving a hit and run. But he let me off with a warning because he said obviously something was going on. He said, if you're not drunk and you're stumbling around, he said, I think you should go to the doctors and see what's going on with you. He said, that's kind of scary. He said, I don't think you should be driving either, especially if that's happening. So, then in, March or May, one of the two, I went down to see my mom in Florida. And the same thing happened with my body just stumbling, and I didn't feel good. And I usually, whenever that happened, I would go into a room because I didn't know what was happening to me, you know, and I didn't want to worry anybody. And I was just sweating profusely. And she came in my room. She said, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I just don't feel right. You know, then I got a job at Titanium Factory. I met my son's father there, and about 3 months later, I was pregnant. Towards the, while I was with my son's dad, there was multiple times where I would just start profusely sweating, and I would just start stumbling, and I would throw up. I would pass out, and like he says that my body vibrates. He said it feels like your body's vibrating. And it happened a lot. And then I became pregnant with Jace. At the end of my pregnancy, heart problems started happening, because in the beginning of, the beginning of 2014, I had tried to kill myself, and the EMT, I was 74 pounds when I tried to kill myself. So the EMT did CPR for an illegal amount of time, and my chest plate, your chest plate is supposed to be like this, my chest plate is now like this. So my heart doesn't have a lot of room to beat around, so it hurts. So at the end of my pregnancy, you know, when the baby's like super big, you have no room. And my heart was literally skipping beats. It was stopping, and it hurt so bad. And right before I had him, right before I started pushing, I didn't feel good, and my body broke out in that sweat, and I started vibrating. And I said, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? So it's at random, and ever since I've had him, it has become more and more intense, and it's getting worse. I was working. I had gotten a job over the summer. I was working, and I hit my head over here, where my head injury was from my abuser, and I'm assuming I had a seizure, because when I came through, I had a giant cut on my arm. And I just screamed for my kitchen manager, and I had to make a very hard decision of leaving my job, because it just wasn't safe, and something obviously was wrong with me. So I went to my doctor with the memory problems, the mood swings, the confusion, you know, not being able to remember the days of the week, months, stuff like that. She flagged me with early onset dementia and said that those were the signs and symptoms. However, she wasn't going to diagnose me with anything because we needed to do testing. So I needed to get an MRI. During the time of the MRI, I was going through a bunch of bullcrap with the person who is now harassing the crap out of me for no reason. Her blanket was fixed and remade, and she has no reason to come after me at all right now, except that she's fucking miserable with her own life, apparently, and wants to see me suffer more than I already have. But that's beside the point. Um, I was going through so much stress during that time, I ended up having a seizure during my MRI, and the whatever's in there, it's 7 millimeters in size, and it lit up. And I guess honestly, in a way, I'm kind of grateful for all that stress that she had me under, because without all that stress, they wouldn't have found anything, and my body wouldn't have had that reaction during the MRI. So a bunch of things were noted on this side of my head, and my doctor told me that I had to see a neurologist, but she wanted to get an EEG in place while we were waiting for the neurologist, because neurology wait here in Pennsylvania is 9 months for my insurance company. 9 months. So I went and I got an EEG done. And the 20-minute EEG that they did was able to prove that this was not a birth defect. They ruled that out. However, my body is responding as epileptic, but they were not able to confirm nor deny if I was epileptic, because further testing needs to be done. My family doctor says I'll probably need like day studies, and I'll probably have to stay overnight and stuff for them to monitor me. But they had me do this breathing exercise, and I had a seizure during it. And then the strobe lights that they had above, the second to last set, my body started twitching. And I said, "What's happening?" She said, "It's okay." And then the last set of strobe lights, my whole body started shaking. And then afterwards, I just sat there, and like my whole body was just like, and she said, "Are you on any medication for this, Lauren?" At the end, and I said, "No, I'm on, medication to help me sleep at night, because, with the trauma and stuff, like, I just have a hard time sleeping. And I have anxiety medication." So, it sounds like somebody is, like, trying to get in my front door. My dogs are, like, my one dog's looking at the door weird. It's weird. But anyway, so neurology just called and scheduled me an appointment the other day, and that's not till summer, July 3rd. So, yeah, I'm scared to work, because I'm scared of being in the car and possibly having a seizure, and not only hurting myself, but other people on the road. And yeah, so that's where I'm at. So if you have these problems, I know it's very scary, but please know that you are worth being looked into and checked out. You don't need to suffer. I don't know what lies ahead for me. I have no clue. But we'll see. Thank you guys for listening, and I'm gonna go see what this noise is going on here. Appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys have a great day.